Well, I'm out here to cast a light on what the VA does and why the 22 suicides that they claim happened today. It's actually more than that. It's more like 50 because the VA is the ones that handed out the number, and they calculated it by going to the two of the smallest states in the union and testing them poorly, by the way. A poor test was done, but they came up with 22 a day were killing themselves in those states, those small states. Had they include the larger populated states like New York, Illinois, or California, it would be more like 50 to 70 a day. I have no way of knowing that number. It's kind of a guess, but it's best guess. A lot of people believe, and that's what it is also. And the way they torture guys. I'm a survivor of the highest casualty Ranger unit in history. I got the book in the car that talks about it. I got credentials on me. I'm telling the truth. I know a lot of people kind of like to say they did that, but I actually did. I was a senior team leader in that high casualty company. And so Dr. Worley, who's the chief of staff, who does not have an administrative degree, but has a psychiatry degree, and his specialty is in psychological warfare. I went to Congress because they had not called me to tell me about 4 vital tests that I'd had in 6 months and wouldn't do so Congress got a hold of them, and they put a special guy on it, a guy named Michael Anderson. And so Michael Anderson set out to get me that test, to get him to respond. The patient rep and I talked to the nurse in Team 7, my team, and she admitted on the phone that she had not called me and given me the results of the test in 6 months. I have that on video, or on tape, by the way. I also have on tape a 30-minute conversation I had with the director at the VA trying to get him to help me get some health care and help me get that confirmed MDX test. He just really was insulting. He told me my time was up, didn't offer me any help. I got that on tape also. I told him that Dr. Worley what he was doing was akin to attempted murder, because when he creates as much anxiety, stress that he did for me, knowing that I am a PTSD casualty from that high casualty Ranger unit, I knew right then and there that he wasn't going to do nothing. Sure enough, that's been a year. He's never called me to follow up to see if anything had happened. I am now on home hospice, end of life health care, and they say I have from 2 weeks to 2 months to live, and I don't want to die for nothing, sir. I really don't. I haven't cried about dying. I don't fear death. The fear of death was taken from me in that high casualty Ranger unit. And I have proof for all of this, sir. And I can tell you this, I don't want to die for nothing. If I die here on this sidewalk and it goes viral and we get something done at the VA finally, once and for all, because everybody gets tired of hearing this. Everybody knows how horribly we're treated. And the people that's disappointed us the most is Congress, because they're in charge of regulating them and they don't do anything at all about it. An example of that would be I called Senator Cotton's office, and I told them that I would like them to call me. You have to leave a message on their recorder that I'd like them to call me because I had a request. I had a dying wish that I wanted to talk to them about. 5-6 weeks later, they returned my call on the recorder and asked me what it was, and I said, my dying wish is that I get the opportunity to tell Senator Cotton, another Ranger like myself, that what's going on and why the suicide rates are so high. Well, she said, he's way too busy to be doing anything like that, so we can't do that, but let me send you a form letter. This is after I waited 5 weeks, 6 weeks for her to return my phone call. I got to tell you, Congress is the ones to blame. Hill, Crawford, what's that one guy's name? Right here in our district. Womack, yeah. And then there's one more, Westerheim or something like that. None of them. I've called all 6 of them. None of them will do anything, but the one who did the least was Tom Cotton. And I voted for Tom Cotton. He was a Ranger. I don't think Tom Cotton knows how his office is handling Rangers or veterans who call there. They just don't do anything. They don't want to talk to you because they have to write something down, and they're really basically pretty lazy, in my opinion, because they don't follow up on anything, don't do anything. She didn't even offer me a conversation. She just said he's way too busy to talk to you. I deny you your death wish, your final wish, and that was the way that there went. And so this is the way it's been. They've been torturing people till they kill themselves, and the ones they torture the most are guys like me who went to Congress and complained about them. And when we complain about them, they treat us worse than the whistleblowers that complain about them, because the whistleblower loses his job where the Ranger loses his life. And I don't mind dying for this cause. You know, we had to sign a statement in the Rangers that we would not surrender to the enemy. And what that means is you fight to the very, very end. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I've already done that, and I'm going to continue doing so until I take my last breath. And with lung cancer being as painful as it is, this is not an easy chore for me to stand here today and talk to you about this situation, but somebody needs to finally do something and get Congress out of the way. If they're not going to do something, let's get a special counsel for this. And by the way, I like President Trump. I have nothing against him. But what he didn't help the VA. He took the 3rd guy down the rung from the Secretary of the VA and appointed him the Secretary of the VA. Same old, as we said in Vietnam. We're going to get the same. If you do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, that's the definition of insanity. What Trump did here is an act of insanity, because we're taking another insider from the VA and promoting cruelty, torture, and abuse on veterans who have PTSD so they can die and get them off the list of patients.
How can folks get a hold of you, Gary?
My phone number is 870-656-8775.
What would you like to ask people to do?
Join me. If you're like me and you're dying and you've been tortured at the VA, don't die for nothing. Bring yourself out. I'm asking for all special operations, special Rangers, special forces, SEALs, the bravest of the brave, to join me today. Congress has disappointed us for 120 years. The VA started 120 years ago in 1920, and every 2 years since 1920, there's been a horrible incident in which veterans died unnecessarily. It's apparent that it's never going to stop until we take over. So it's time for the brave of the brave to step forward and be part of this deal, and let's get it over with once and for all, so these kids who are coming home today don't have to face what we have to face every day, so they don't have to die, so a doctor can have a job. And a bureau, it really, you know, I want to be honest about this. Many of the healthcare workers in the VA are God-loving, wonderful people. It's not them that I complain about. It's the bureaucrats. You know, Dr. Worley is a psychiatrist. His specialty is psychological warfare. He is the keeper of the bonuses that are paid to the doctors. He's the one. He's protecting their bonuses by making sure that he puts a quietus on us, shuts our mouth, doesn't give us anything, and tortures us until we finally commit suicide. Sir, I'm never committing suicide. I told him he was going to have to hire a hitman if he wanted me dead, because I wasn't going to do it. I have a list of voluminous things they did to me that are torture. I mean, it's too long to go into today, but if you want to take some time with me where it's quiet, I'll share them with you. I've told other people, and it makes them cry and I have proof of everything they did to me. You know, going 6 months without is one example of not calling me on very important tests I took, like a prostate biopsy, and they tell me I have prostate cancer also. So they've done a good job in torturing me to death. It's just I didn't kill myself according to their plan. I toughed it out according to my plan and God's plan.